Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this weekend.
People headed to the bars to celebrate the big game.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10 at 11:15. I'm Ken Kozarowski.
And I'm Emily Brown.
Super Bowl 58 offered football and Taylor Swift fans alike a chance to see something that hadn't been done since 2005, a team winning back-to-back titles. Sports director Rob Schiff joins us live in studio for the game that had us on pins and needles. Rob?
What a night, right? Well, it's one of the biggest events of the year, and it's just a day where about everyone for at least a few hours is a diehard sports fan. Let's go to Las Vegas, Sin City. That's what it's all about. San Francisco and Kansas City playing for the right to be called champs in the second quarter. 49ers going to their bag of tricks. Juwan Jennings across the field. Somehow this play works. Christian McCaffrey's there. He takes it to the house. Wow, San Fran up 10-0. Chiefs cut it back to 4 after a pair of field goals. Then late in the third, KC getting a big break on this play. San Francisco special teams coughs it up. Chiefs pounce on it inside the 20, and KC capitalizes. Very next play, Patrick Mahomes hooking up with former Packer. MVS wide open. Chiefs take a 13-10 lead. Niners strike right back. Brock Purdy to Jennings, this time on the receiving end. Niners jump in front. KC would block the extra point, though, so that keeps it a 3-point game. Then with time running out in the fourth, Harrison Butker ties it at 19. Let's go to OT. Niners go back up 3 on their first drive, but then Mahomes does what Mahomes does. 3rd and 1, nowhere to go except right up the middle. Takes it inside the 15, and then with time running out, a play call for the ages. Mahomes to Mecole Hardman. That's your ball game. Chiefs are NFL champs. Once again, KC goes back-to-back, 25-22 the final in overtime. Guys, only the second Super Bowl to go to overtime. First time the team has gone back-to-back in 20 years. Patriots did it back in 2004. Unbelievable stuff. A great game, long game. We're here late talking about it, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Me and Cade will break it down a little further. We'll go hear from the 3-time champ now, Patrick Mahomes. Getting closer to that Brady, not quite, but it's starting to feel like that D word, the dynasty. I don't like saying it, but it's starting to feel like it.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Well, concerns over President Biden's age are growing, even among Democratic voters.
This comes after a Justice Department report this week cleared him of wrongdoing in his handling of classified documents, but raised questions about his mental acuity. CBS's Christian Benavidez reports.
President Joe Biden in Delaware this weekend as Democratic voters express growing concern over the perception he may be too old to hold the job.
I wish we were running somebody else.
Horribly disappointing that we can't get younger candidates.
All on the heels of that Justice Department report by Republican Special Counsel Robert Hur, describing Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. First Lady Jill Biden in an email to donors writing, he's 81, doing more in an hour than most people do in a day. Joe has wisdom, empathy, and vision.
Is there a problem here?
There's not a problem. This president is going to be able to sell a record that is extraordinary. Unemployment at record lows, factory construction booming, crime down, inflation under control.
And then he turns around.
Mr. Biden's likely rival, former President Donald Trump, who's faced his own questions over memory problems, has used the report to attack Biden.
The special counsel's report tries to let Biden off by claiming that he is too mentally incompetent to convict at a trial. Not going to charge him with a crime, but it's okay for him to become commander-in-chief. Think of that one.
We have to face the reality of the fact that when you get to those ages, you get diminished.
GOP presidential longshot Nikki Haley has taken jabs at both Biden and Trump over their mental acuity this weekend. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
Haley also responded to Trump's comments at a rally after he questioned why her husband has not been seen with Haley. Michael Haley is currently deployed with the military.
On Face the Nation, Haley said, "We can't have someone who sits there and mocks our men and women who are trying to protect America." Well, a presidential candidate from the Green Party will be on Wisconsinites' ballots this November. The Wisconsin Elections Commission approved the addition on Thursday. The move comes after the party won more than 1% of the vote in a statewide race in 2022. Experts think it could be a significant role as the state's recent presidential elections were decided by less than 1%. A Green Party candidate did not appear on the ballot for the 2020 presidential election.
A Wisconsin congressman is not seeking re-election. Representative Mike Gallagher from the Green Bay area is retiring from Congress after 4 terms. The announcement comes after Gallagher was one of only a handful of Republicans who voted against impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. At one point, Gallagher was considered a top potential candidate to run against Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin this fall. Gallagher announced in June he wouldn't run for Senate and had planned to remain in the House.
There's destruction everywhere in southwestern Wisconsin following the state's first ever February tornado, and communities are coming to clean up. Ashley James of Evansville was inside this house on a family farm when the tornado hit, and what they found was destruction beyond what they could have imagined. But just 2 days later, Ashley is in good spirits, all thanks to a little help from her community. Friends, family, and even some strangers came out to help them get ahead on the long road to recovery.
Seeing everybody helping out and knowing that we're okay and we can rebuild, so it's just objects.
And while many of those objects may be lost, it's the ones left standing they're choosing to focus on. The Evansville Fire Department is also helping the cleanup effort. They're taking and distributing donations of food, water, and supplies at the fire station.
Well, we're pretty close to it becoming Monday morning already, so let's get a look at what the week may have planned for us with our chief meteorologist, Greg Barnhart.
We only got, another 40 minutes to go, so yeah, there we go. Overall, it was a good weekend. I mean, for standards for February, it was. Obviously, it felt chillier compared to those 50s that we had last week, but still, we're pretty good for this time for the year. Overall, temperatures right now are still in the upper 20s to low 30s. We got some clouds that are going to be passing through here and there overnight, but yeah, today, temperatures upper 30s, most places to the low 40s, and that's about a 10-degree jump about what we should be. There's your departure from average. It's not going to say that because we're kind of past the time, but it was 10 to 15 degrees again above average. Overall, we do have a weak little system up to the north that's producing some cloud cover, and that's what's going to do is it digs south through the area along with the wind shift. So that's what we're going to kind of see over the next 24 hours. As you wake up tomorrow morning, still very good. Upper 20s for Eau Claire. We'll see that west-north wind turn around behind this weak front. It'll just provide some cloud cover and just some cooler temps, but overall still above average. Same story for La Crosse. We'll get back down. We'll sit in the upper 20s. We'll climb back into around 40 by lunch hour with that wind turning around to the northwest. Once again, on and off cloud cover with more clear skies in the afternoon. Yes, we have Valentine's Day coming up. In fact, it's actually going to get warmer than even 41. We're probably potentially seeing mid to upper 40s by Wednesday, so a mild week. But we do have some snow in the forecast for Thursday, and I'll break that down a bit later in the full forecast.
That's something new.
Not a lot of snow, nothing big, but we do have, some winter stuff coming.
Well, it's a change. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Community members held a Remembrance Day today for a Maderi 6-year-old who died last year. Family and friends of 6-year-old Alex Xavier Pedron gathered in La Crosse to honor him on the anniversary of his death. The group shared memories of the boy and called for the end of child abuse. The group Justice for Alex Xavier is looking to make statewide change. They've created a petition to end qualified immunity and reform welfare checks. Alex Xavier's family says this work is to honor him and make sure no other child goes through what he did.
Not a day goes by that he isn't talked about, or we look at his pictures. He's always going to be with us. I truly believe that he is with us.
31-year-old Shozi Dykeman has been charged with first-degree intentional homicide in connection to Pedron's death. She's currently in jail on a $250,000 cash bond, and her trial likely won't be until 2025. A pancake breakfast for the Kickapoo Valley Forest School brought hundreds together this morning. The Heart of Winter Pancake Breakfast is the school's annual fundraiser. Families and faculty were treated to pancakes, music, raffles, and games at the campus. The Forest School is a public charter school that focuses on broadening children's life skills through experiences in nature. A parent of Forest School said today's event brings community support and awareness to its unique education model.
I think this really shows that this community is really supportive of unique education opportunities here for the children. I think this is such a great example of the community coming together in a partnership.
The Forest School is the only tuition-free public charter school in the state.
Well, the big game means big parties, and people in La Crosse were out to celebrate. We caught up with some football fans at Howie's La Crosse today. Everyone had their own reason for coming out to watch the game, and since the Packers weren't playing, there were some unique answers to who people were rooting for.
I'm rooting for the Niners. I just think they're due for one. Yeah.
Kind of excited to see Usher. I really wanted to see Post Malone, so I got here nice and early, got the beer started. So really impartial to who wins, but I'm here for it.
I want Taylor Swift to win tonight.
I agree. I was here to see Post Malone as well. Well, looks like the Niners weren't due for one, but Usher and Post Malone both crushed their performances tonight. And congrats to our former morning anchor, Jen Livingston, and the rest of the Chiefs Kingdom.
She's celebrating it up tonight, I'm sure.
I bet she is. Still ahead, less robocalls.
The FCC cracking down on calls generated by artificial intelligence. The FCC is cracking down on robocalls that use voices generated by AI.
Scammers can now be hit with fines topping $23,000 per call if they use voice cloning tools to defraud people or manipulate voters. This comes as officials in New Hampshire investigate a series of robocalls that mimicked President Biden's voice to discourage people from voting in last month's primary election.
Owning a car is getting more expensive. A report from Bankrate shows car insurance prices jumped 26% higher than last year. The average driver now paying around $212 a month. Insurance has become especially expensive in states where there are frequent natural disasters like hurricanes.
Sony Music Group has agreed to buy half of Michael Jackson's publishing and recorded masters catalog from the late singer's estate. Billboard, citing sources, is reporting the entire catalog has been valued to be at least $1.2 billion. The outlet is also reporting that based off that figure, Sony will be paying at least $600 million for the transaction. The deal will reportedly not include royalties from the Broadway musical MJ, nor any other theatrical production featuring his music. However, it does reportedly include publishing assets that are part of Jackson's My Jack catalog. That includes songs written by Sly and the Family Stone, as well as hits written or performed by legends such as Jerry Lee Lewis and Ray Charles.
The Super Bowl is second only to Thanksgiving for the amount of food Americans eat. The National Retail Federation predicts viewers spent more than $17 billion on food, drinks, and party items. A Wells Fargo report shows chips are more expensive than last year, but guacamole is about the same, and frozen chicken wings are 11% cheaper. The National Chicken Council predicts Americans ate nearly 1.5 billion wings during the game.
Well, it definitely felt like we had a Thanksgiving feast here in the studio
absolutely.
With all the food we have. Coming up, flu season is still going strong.
The CDC reports at least 20 million Americans have been infected with the flu since October.
And yeah, we haven't seen any amounts of snow this month, but that may change coming this week. We got a little bit of snow in the forecast and some colder temperatures, but nothing that you would see in February. I'll break down when to expect the snow and what our temperatures look like as we go past Valentine's Day. That all coming up in the First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Well, the CDC says flu activity is on the rise.
The agency reports more than 16% of clinical lab samples tested positive in the last week of January. That's up nearly 2% from the week before. The CDC reports at least 20 million Americans have been infected since October.
Researchers are finding more evidence of the benefits of giving up smoking. A new study in JAMA shows people who kick the habit have a significantly lower cancer risk even 10 years later. The research involved 3 million people and found quitting at any age helped, but those who stopped before middle age experienced the most benefit. Well, it was a beautiful weekend that we had, like nice and sunny and cool, a little windy.
Yeah, take the good with the bad.
Right. But it seems like it looks like we have a little bit more ahead of that ahead of us, even some snow, Greg.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix. Let's get the latest from our chief meteorologist, Greg Barnhart.
Yeah, it was kind of it was a nice weekend by February standards. Now it did feel kind of chilly compared to what we had, the 50s near 60, but not too bad. And really this week we're going to start off continually mild. Tomorrow mid 30s, upper 30s. We'll climb back into the 40s potentially for some areas, and definitely a lot of places pretty much everyone will see the 40s by Wednesday, maybe even a 50 depending on if we get enough sun out there. And then we're going to drop back down, and by the end of the week we should be near where we should be for temperatures, low 30s or even a little bit colder than that. But still, considering this is the middle of February, you really can't beat these conditions. Precipitation, we got a few flurries north of Eau Claire at times throughout the next couple days. There's some weak systems along with the lake effect up there. You might see a few flurries. Won't amount to too much. We do have the light rain, snow maybe on Wednesday, but I think more likely it's going to be Wednesday night where we'll see a little bit of light rain to snow. Some minor accumulations are possible. Right now, anything that looks pretty much under an inch, but that could change. Otherwise, you look at it, really the big thing you're going to see is some areas going to see more clouds than others throughout the next several days, and that'll really make a difference in your temperatures. But you see the winds turn around to the northwest tomorrow. We should climb back up into the upper 30s to near 40. Warmer conditions as you go further south with less cloud cover. North of Eau Claire, the clouds may stick around more, and in fact in the afternoon keeping the temperatures a little cooler. We'll see some breaks for tomorrow evening. Once again, that northwest wind behind that little system that's passing through. And then tomorrow night, on and off cloud cover, but we're going to see another system approach from the west that'll probably increase those clouds going to Tuesday morning. That could provide a little bit of a snow flurry coming through, but none of this is going to be really that thing. We're going to pay attention to what's come next Wednesday night through Thursday. And right now, here's the system. It's going to kind of lift northeast, and the bulk of it right now seems to be in southern Wisconsin to central Wisconsin. This could change, but for right now, the best chance for precipitation is going to be the Wednesday night at about 60%. And we're kind of right on that rain-snow line for southern areas. So we'll maybe start off with a little bit of rain Wednesday night, transition to some snow. Areas north of La Crosse probably will be all snow, and this is coming through about the Thursday morning commute, and that's the problem with it. Not so much the amount that we'll see, because it's going to pass pretty quickly by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, but it's a timing. So we'll keep an eye on that, but we could see a half inch, maybe an inch, depending on how fast it moves through for Thursday morning. So something to keep an eye on. We might see actually another system by Friday too. We're keeping an eye on this one. Right now the chances are still fairly low because this is just one solution. A lot of them are pushing it south or breaking apart. It will keep it colder for Friday, so we might see more snow continuing Friday. But once again, none of these systems are huge, significant winter storms. As you see, there's really no 3-inch probability anywhere, but it just takes a little bit of timing to get that to be an issue. But for Valentine's Day, it should be a mild start to the day, but then we'll kind of see that light rain or snow maybe in the evening, but so far we're not going to see much on that. So overnight for temperatures, you're going to see that we're going to see upper 20s to low 30. And then as we go through tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures getting up into the upper 30s, low 40s. And as you see, pretty much Valentine's Day could be almost 50 in some areas. And then that snow comes late Wednesday night through Thursday morning. And then we fall back to where we kind of should be for Friday and Saturday. But still, we could be a lot of snow and below zero right now. So we can't beat these conditions still.
No, we can't.
Nope.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, thank you. And now it's time to announce the chosen Picturing Our Community photo for the week. This week's winner is Allison Waite of Onalaska with this photo from Riverside Park. Every week, we pick a photo to be shared in our gallery on our website at news8000.com and socially on our News 8 Now Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram.
If you'd like to participate, just head to news8000.com, click on Submit Photos and Videos under the Home tab, then click on Picturing Our Community and enter your photo. New winner will be chosen every Friday, announced Sunday night, and then showcased online Monday morning. And coming up next in sports, the dynamic duo is here. And no, I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I'm talking Rob Schiff and Kate Overton, breaking down the big game and what it means for the NFL.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Well, it's one of the biggest events of the year, and it's a day where just about everyone, for at least a few hours, is a diehard sports fan.
Yeah, and this year the game had everything: defense, special teams, overtime, and even a game-winning drive.
Let's check it out. Let's go to Sin City. That's what it's all about right there. San Francisco and Kansas City playing for the right to be called champs. Second quarter, 49ers going to their bag of tricks. Juwan Jennings across the field. Somehow this works. Christian McCaffrey's there. He takes it to the house. Wow, San Fran goes up 10-0. Chiefs cut it back to 4 after a pair of field goals. Then late in the third, KC gets a big break on this one. San Francisco special teams coughs it up. Chiefs pounce on it inside the 20, and KC capitalizes. Very next play, Patrick Mahomes hooking up with the former Packer. MVS wide open. Chiefs take a 13-10 lead. Niners strike right back. Brock Purdy to Jennings, this time on the receiving end. Niners jump in front. KC would block the extra point, though. That was big, so that keeps it a 3-point game. Then with time running out in the fourth, Harrison Butker drills it. Let's go to OT. Niners go back up 3 on their first drive, but then Mahomes takes over. 3rd and 1, nowhere to go except right up the middle. He takes it inside the 15, and then with time running out, a play call for the ages. Mahomes to Mecole Hardman. Ball game. Chiefs are NFL champs once again. Kansas City goes back-to-back, 25-22 the final in overtime. 3rd Super Bowl championship for Patrick Mahomes. Are we witnessing a dynasty?
It's the start of one. We're not done. I know we're going to celebrate tonight, celebrate the Pride Wednesday, Kansas City, but we're not done. We've got a young team. We'll keep this thing going.
All right, Mahomes becomes just the 5th quarterback in NFL history to have at least 3 Super Bowl championships. Chiefs are the first team in almost 20 years to go back-to-back. Patriots did it back in 2003 and 2004.
All right, and before the Super Bowl got underway, it was reported that former Badger Jim Leonhard is headed back to the NFL. Leonhard plans on joining the Denver Broncos staff to coach the secondary. Of course, Leonhard spent his playing days at Wisconsin before eventually becoming the defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2022. Leonhard spent last year as an analyst on the Illinois coaching staff. Now he returns to the Mile High City, a place where he played back in 2012.
All right, now tonight we have the Super Bowl. Tomorrow on the hardwood, we could potentially get an NBA Finals preview as the Bucks host the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Always a great time when Giannis and Jokic square off. Multiple MVPs for both those guys. They're 2 of the best in the league. Tip-off is set for 7. We'll have highlights tomorrow night. What a night on the gridiron. The final game of the season. It lived up to the hype for sure.
I mean, the last play, they go back. They did those same play last year in the Super Bowl to win it. They go back and do it again. I mean, how can you count out Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? Just unbelievable team.
Yep. It wasn't the greatest Super Bowl. I mean, it might sound like it overtime, down to the final seconds. Right, but it was, I mean, you give Mahomes a chance. We said it too. We were watching the game together, all of us. When the Niners only got 3 on that first possession in overtime, it just felt like Mahomes was going to do what he did. That's exactly what he did. 3rd championship. I just want to say real quick, he's still very far from Brady. I mean, we kind of set the standard at 7, but he is only just one of 5 quarterbacks now to have 3. So he's on his way, and to do it this year with this road, kind of the worst team he's had in terms of their regular season.
The important thing is their defense has really stepped up this year, last year, and they're playing at an elite level. And if they can keep that up, who knows how many he can get to.
We'll see. We'll be right back after this.
Eyes were glued to the screen for the big game today, but we are not talking about that game in Vegas.
No, we're not. We're talking about the 20th annual Puppy Bowl, and this one was down to the wire. Team Fluff's three-peat fell short as a last-second field goal led Team Rough to a 72-69 victory. And there were even some celebrity appearances. Midway through the game, the camera panned to Travis Clossy and Taylor Swift.
Puppy Bowl 20 shine a spotlight on animal adoption and rescue shelters. And overall, 131 puppies from 73 different shelters and rescue groups ended up taking part. Congrats to them. A lot of offense in the Puppy Bowl this year, too.
I've never seen this before.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, the cutest.
We'll be right back after this.
All right, tomorrow, once again, seasonal mild, a little bit warmer today for some areas. This worry depends on cloud cover. And then as we go through the rest of the week, we're going to see temperatures climb all the way to mid-40s, upper 40s, and then cool back down.
All right. So, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.